3. Recording in progress. Okay, Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vishtaya Bhutale. Shemati Bhakti Vedanta Swamti Namane. Namaste Sarasati Devi Gauravani Pachaline. Nivasisha Sunyavadi Pashtatara Sataline. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Okay, Hare Krishna. Now let me share with you. There you go. You should be able to see now. You can see? 10:10?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I just got one other notebook I just want to open up. But Mother Mongol, you can just go ahead, Prabhuji.
Tesam satata yuktanam brajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yenamam upayantite. Translation: those who are constantly devoted to serving me with love, I give the understanding by which they can come to me. Purport: in this verse, the word buddhi yogam is very significant. We may remember that in the second chapter, the Lord, instructing Arjuna, said that he has spoken to him of many things and that he would instruct him in the way of Buddhi Yoga. Now, Buddhi Yoga is explained. Buddhi Yoga itself is an action in Krishna consciousness. That is the highest intelligence. Buddhi means intelligence, and Yoga means mystic activities or mystic elevation. When one tries to go back to Godhead, and take fully to Krishna consciousness in devotional service, his action is called Buddhi Yoga. In other words, Buddhi Yoga is the process by which one gets out of the entanglement of this material world. The ultimate goal of progress in Krishna, the ultimate progress in Krishna. People do not know this. Therefore, the association of devotees and a bona fide spiritual master are important. One should know that the goal in Krishna and uh, and and when the goal is assigned, no, I jumped a bit, sorry. Devotion in the bona fide spiritual master is important. One should know that the goal is Krishna, and when the goal is assigned, then the path is slowly but progressively traversed, and the ultimate goal is achieved. When when a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he is acting in karma yoga. When he knows that the goal is Krishna but he takes pleasure in mental speculation to understand Krishna, he is acting in jnana yoga. And when he knows the goal and seeks Krishna completely in Krishna consciousness and devotional service, he is acting in bhakti yoga or buddhi yoga, which is the complete yoga. The complete yoga is the highest perfectional stage of life. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization, but if he is still not intelligent enough or to make progress, then Krishna from within gives him and Krishna gives him instruction so that he may ultimately come to him without difficulty. The qualification is that the person always engage himself in Krishna consciousness and with love and devotion render all kinds of services. He should perform some sort of work for Krishna, and then work should be with love. If a devotee is not intelligent enough to make progress on the path of self-realization, but is sincere and devoted to the activities of devotional service, the Lord gives him a chance to make progress and ultimately attain to him.
Okay, thank you, Mother Mongol Prabhuji. Any immediate observations, questions? I was going to say complaints, but that's the wrong word. No complaints, but comments.
So can we call Bhakti Yoga the same like Buddhi Yoga? It's a different way of calling it.
Yeah, to be truthful, I always get a bit confused about Buddha Yoga and what exactly it is and why it's been brought in here. But yes, as Prabhupada said himself in the purport, it is non-different from Krishna consciousness. Yeah. but I've just I only had half an hour to read up on this first before we began. But what was highlighted by Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur that helped me to kind of understand a bit is that we made, according to our karma, we may not have the required intelligence to be able to correctly ascertain all the secrets of bhakti and the details of the philosophy, etc., etc. We may be lacking because we know even on the material platform, persons have different degrees of intelligence. So those with more intelligence, according to their karma, they may be capable of engaging in certain type of activities which others can't. For instance, I would definitely not be qualified to study astrophysics. It's just, I know I just don't have the intelligence to be able to try and understand it. I was hopeless at maths at school, so as far as studying that type of thing, it is beyond my intelligence. But with devotional service, Krishna provides the intelligence that is needed to actually make advancement. That's what's being explained here. So he actually manifests within the heart, and then he directs the bhakta. So it's not a issue of what material intelligence you have or you may not have. It says here, for those who are serving him constantly, okay, he is going to give them the buddhi, which means intelligence. So that's what I mean, buddhi yoga. Yeah, he's going to give intelligence by which one can come back home, back to Godhead.
How can we understand this when a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to fruitive activities?
Yeah, where's that
Because we
again?
are trapped somehow. It's here a bit more up with your go with your arrow a bit more up in the middle of the page, more or less. When a person knows the goal of life but is addicted, a bit
Okay,
more
got it.
down,
Yeah.
more down, no, more down, more down, more down.
Oh, no.
The next one, when more down, more down, more down, more down, 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 a bit more. Two more lines down. Two more down.
It's like playing Space Invaders.
Two more down. A bit one more down.
Oh, here.
There.
The next paragraph, you mean?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. All right. So the question is,
So how can we deal with when a person knows the goal of life? You know what you need to serve Krishna, but then you are kind of trapped in it, isn't it? It's a
yeah, I understand the point. What's being said. When a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities, he's acting in karma yoga. So that may be a specific, philosophically, one may understand, but practically speaking, one is too much attached, so one is unable to give it up. Philosophically, they may understand, just like philosophically, all of us are pure devotees. I remember one devotee used to come every year. Devotees know him very well, very dear to the Vaishnavas. Navadvip Prabhu. Now you don't see him so much. He used to stay in the ashram for 2 weeks while Jagannath was resting. And he would make this point, very interesting point, that philosophically, we're all pure devotees. Pure but within the heart, there may be different material attachments that may still be there. So in essence, to answer your question, as far as I can understand, if anyone else has any comments, this is when a person knows the goal of life but is addicted to the fruits of activities. So at least he's engaging his activities in dovetailing somehow in Krishna's seva, but one's still attached to the results that come from that. So, yeah, so philosophically, but one is not one is still harboring attachment, so one is not able to act in Nishkam Karma Yoga.
Does that mean, Prabhu, that he's still not convinced? Is is there sort of like there's two ways of thinking about that? Because if he knows the goal of life and yet he's still, you say got desires, material desires. Is he at that point where he's still not 110% convinced that this is the right way? Yet he's convincing himself that I need to do devotional service. I don't know. It's a little bit sort of.
Yeah. Perhaps I'll ask you if others can comment first. I mean, I have some ideas on that. Has everyone devotees understood the question? I think she's just Mohini Gopika. I think she,
Because one way he's serving Krishna so nicely, but yet he's so attached to fruitive activities. So I don't, how do we understand that?
But even if he knows the goal of life, he knows it. So then if he knows, then he's first thinking that he knows, then he needs to act to not materialize, but to act on it.
But I mean, so you're just highlighting the questions. So what's being asked is that person just not sincere or not serious? Is that the question?
Yes, yeah. How do we understand that? Is it for show? I don't know. It's
Yeah, it is.
We have actually we have a nice devotee coming to the temple, and from what I see, that he knows the goal of life, but because he's so engrossed in his life, money and everything, and what goes with the money, it's pious activities he does, inviting devotees to his house and sannyasis and everything like that, but just can't take that step to completely kind of give up. And we
That's
all
my question. That was my question. Thank you, Mother Chandravali. More or like that. I try to put it.
We have an example there. Well, I mean, there must be others as well, but I mean, I look at it this way, like when we know goal of life, right? Yet we still tend to, we still tend to kind of, it's okay.
Yeah.
I know what to do. I know how to chant really attentively. It's okay. Today I could not do my rounds properly, but I will really do them properly tomorrow.
Exactly. I think a lot of people are in that situation.
What that sentence says, we are in the same kind of boat, but we're not kind of acting in karma yoga. But at times we are in one way.
Yeah, it's hard to let go.
Yeah, had to let
go.
Yes.
Anybody else on this specific question?
And maybe can happen that we have so many friends around that because of our friends, we can't actually get out from the situation. We are afraid maybe also that, if I leave and I do this step, maybe I will lose everyone or I will lose everything, and maybe it will happen that they will care for me or not. I think that's a lack of faith also. So faith you get it from someone who has the faith. But then you are afraid to ask for the faith or for the help. Because maybe we make offenses, we think in our mind. Who knows what's going on?
Yeah. Just anybody else before?
Yeah, I was thinking the
Please,
answer is given in Bhagavad Gita. Kama esha, krodha esha, rajoguna, samudbhava. Because of, even if they come to the temple and they are in good mood of goodness, there is that little bit of rajogun in them. And that's the reason they can't leave, or they think I'll leave, but it just doesn't happen until a guru sort of knocks them on the head and says, give that up.
Yes, thank you very much, yeah.
Because it happened to us. We were sort of in the Vanprastha and thinking, we are in a Vanprastha, we can stay with the children. Then my Guru Maharaj came and Bhagavatam found himself told off. Within 6 months, we were out here on our flat, and everything is going on very nicely now. I can at least read, and I can the Zoom classes.
Mm.
you
And
can,
the
Yeah.
attachment is so more or less, it is serious itself. It's in a nice way. We don't have to fight and part. It just comes out in a nice way. But we need a guru to knock on the head.
yeah, very good point, Bhagavad Gita. Thank you for sharing that as well. Bhagavad Gita, very good, giving you nice direction. Yeah, and I was thinking along, Mother Gayatri, she says here, she wrote in the chat, they have the best intentions but lack conviction. But the essence of the question, I think Mother Gita, she pointed at Raja Esha, Raja. How did that verse begin again? Raja Esha Guna
Kam
Esha.
esha, krodha,
Guna
kam esha,
Esha.
rajo guna samudbhava.
Yeah, what's the
Kam
translation? You have the
It's
translation?
in second chapter. Arjuna is asking, I want to leave all this, but why can't I do it?
Oh, he's asking, yeah,
And
yeah,
Krishna
he's asking,
says, yeah, kam esh, krodh esh, rajo guna. It's
it
because
is
of
lust only.
Yes.
Yeah. So I think the point is that a devotee may be very sincere about his or her Krishna consciousness, but because of conditioning in the beginning stages, one may not be able to give up one's attachments, as we said before. Yeah. So it doesn't mean always that that person who's maintaining attachments isn't sincere. They may be that there may be a case where someone just is basically insincere, and they're deliberately maintaining their material attachments. But there may be, because, for instance, I'm thinking of the Apichet Surajyar or Bhajate Mam Ananyabhak, that even a sincere person may fall down. But that verse describes because they're correctly situated in their determination. So then their mood is very repentful. Say like someone is practicing Krishna consciousness, they're very sincere, but they're weak. They're weak in their Krishna consciousness. So they're susceptible to the modes of nature, as Maharaj Kishore said, and they may succumb to their lower nature. So we should be careful because externally someone may just judge them as not being serious and not being sincere. But they just may be very sincere, but they may just be weak in Krishna consciousness. But their mood is, there's also a verse, I'm just paraphrasing it, where a devotee may, if he falls down, if he's correctly, if he thinks, oh, I'm such a low devotee, I'm such a rascal, oh my Lord, please be merciful to me, please forgive me, and they're very repentful, and from that repentance they get purified. So those who so if you see persons, it's not necessarily that they're not sincere, it may just be that they're weak in their application of Krishna consciousness, and they will get stronger the more they practice Krishna consciousness and the more they associate with devotees, and the more they hear. Because I guess in one sense we can also apply that to ourselves. We know the goal is anyabhilasata sunyam gana kamani anavaritam, but then we may find ourselves contemplating material things. But we can apply that to ourselves as well. Why? Because we're very small and we may get overcome by the lower modes of nature. So if I understood the question, the answer basically from what we heard from devotees as well is that yes, they are. It doesn't mean because someone falls down, it doesn't mean they're insincere or they're maintaining material attachment. For some, it might mean that. It just may mean they're just not serious. Okay, it's an interesting subject. So I guess it isn't one or the other as well. It's not one's in one category and one's in another category. But also it might not be just commenting on Chandravali's comment about wealthy patron. He often comes up. I guess he's a good example to speak about. Now, wouldn't it be good for him to give up his? Can you imagine if he gave up everything and moved into the ashram?
It would be great.
I don't. He would. He's doing better where he is and giving the temple Lakshmi, which he does every month.
Yeah.
Just like Prabhupada said to George Harrison, wanted to shave up and move into the temple. Well, Prabhupada brilliantly, intelligently said, no, you best you do what you're doing, but do it for Krishna. And look at the results of that. The songs he wrote and how many devotees and how many became devotees because of that. So it may not. So George Harrison was very sincere about his Krishna consciousness. So just because everyone's not moving into the ashram, or it doesn't mean that. I don't know if that was your point, Mother Chandravali. I'm just picking up on the.
No, I wasn't thinking of like that. I was just thinking that how one can still be attached to the life they're living, the life you're living, you know, or there could be family attachment as well. Because, okay, I am like fixed up and I want to move and do Krishna conscious, but I have a wife and children and they're not quite at that.
Yeah, that's why.
That could be that as well, you know.
Yeah, that's why I think the point that Mother Kishore brought up is very important as well. That it may need the guru or the sadhu to actually wake us up. Like we may be we may be doing the wrong thing according to our specific situation, and we may be justifying it in so many ways. Why? Because subtly we're attached. So, but then it comes someone to come from outside, someone to come from an objective point of view and see a situation and just point it out very clearly. Just like a doctor just cuts, like the guru. That's the job of the guru, to give, to give it clearly, because he's got no vested interest. So yeah, sometimes we may justify remaining in a specific situation. We may justify it in the Krishna conscious way. But it may be just we're attached, and that's where the guru comes in, to cut and to put us on the right path. For sure. Yeah, I've had that experience with my Guru Maharaj as well. I have some ideas, this or that, and then I ask for Guru Maharaj, and he comes with something which is completely I hadn't expected, but it's completely Krishna conscious as well. So it kind of wakes you up, and that also highlights the need to have someone acting in that role, Yeah. Hare Krishna. Did that answer your question, Mohini Gopika Mama?
Yes, no, it really lots of confused. So yeah, no, it makes it clear. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. So anything else from here we can churn? Yeah, I wanted to highlight this. This often gets brought up. This is where this quote here. A person may have a bona fide spiritual master and may be attached to a spiritual organization, but if he's still not intelligent enough to make progress, then Krishna from within his heart gives instructions. He may ultimately come to him without difficulty. Anyway, I think we've covered that. Yeah, again. So he may have everything. He may have a spiritual master. He may be situated within a society. I think I mentioned that point in the beginning, but he's not intelligent enough to make progress. And I think I'm getting this mixed up because I think elsewhere it said, even if the spiritual master, where is it? Is it here? He said it. Elsewhere, Prabhupada says, even if the spiritual master is not available.
Those previous verses, the mercy still will come in a different way.
Yeah, that's Sankara Kamudi readings.
Yeah.
From Super will guide you, or some devotees will come up with something, and you.
Yeah, Krishna will make arrangements. So, but here it's mentioned Buddhi yoga means Krishna directly within the heart. will actually inspire his devotee, will give him, her, the intelligence to actually make progress, you know? Yeah. Yeah. I alone, yeah, he says, this little comment here, those who are constantly desirous of association with me, satata yuktanam. This means that the Lord alone causes buddhi, yoga, brackets bhakti yoga, so the same thing. I alone appear within the functions of their minds. This buddhi yoga cannot be obtained at all from any other source. It does not appear on its own. This statement means that realization of me is given only by me and received only by the devotee. By this bhakti, they attain me. And yeah. Yeah, sorry, it says here, it is understood that the joy of the devotee described in the previous verse, Machita Makatapra, is spiritual bliss beyond the modes. But by which method do the devotees gain direct contact with you? Who gives them the method of realizing you? As Krishna does that from within the heart, you know? He does, so it's not just, it isn't, even it's also the details of how to practice our Krishna consciousness in whatever situation we are in. You may be practicing Krishna consciousness and the rest of your family may not be. And Krishna is going to give you intelligence how you can act in that situation to actually maintain your Krishna consciousness. Yeah, so Krishna's there. Again, the verse comes up. What's the verse that's going to come up here? I carry what they lack. We must all know this verse by now. Ananta chintayanto mam yejana payapasate te samnita bhuyuktamam yogikshemi vahamiyaham. I carry what they lack. Yeah. So this verse is echoing.
Preserve what they need or something. I can't remember.
Yeah,
that.
I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have.
need. Oh,
Yeah,
something like
yeah, I carry what they lack, and we're definitely lacking a lot. So Krishna's got that in a bag. and if we have got anything good going for us, he's going to make sure it stays there. Yeah. So kinda. All right. Shall we then, unless there's any more highlights here, otherwise we can look at text 11. Just looking at some coming in the chat here. Okay. Text 11. All right. So again, this is the last verse of the Chatur Sloki. 10, 9, 11. Okay, we have any readers out there? Welcome.
Shall I read,
Just yes, go ahead, Mother. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Do we have to
10,
read
11.
the verse as well? Yes.
Yeah, have a go. Don't worry how it comes out.
Okay. Tesam evunak amparatamam eham ajna jnanam tamam nashyam atma bhavasto jnana depana bhashava.
Yes.
To show them special mercy, I, dwelling in their hearts, destroy the shining lamp of knowledge, the darkness born of ignorance. When Lord Chaitanya was born in Banaras, promulgating the chanting of Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare.
Thousands of people were following him. Prasanda Saraswati, a very influential and learned scholar in Banaras at that time, derided Lord Chaitanya for being a sentimentalist. Sometimes philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Actually, that is not the fact. They are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of the literatures or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna
Krishna
consciousness.
consciousness.
The modern
All right,
philosopher. Oh, sorry.
okay, carry on. Let's just have a look at the size of the purple. Any questions or comments on that paragraph? Yes. Interesting, because this doesn't seem to have anything to do with the verse in the beginning. Prabhupada's bringing up this wonderful Leela from Chaitanya Charitamrita with Prakasana Saraswati Thakur. But then he's bringing out the point that devotees are, basically that the Mayavadi's complaint to devotees is that they're just sentimentalists. Because the strict Mayavadis, they will exhaustively study the Vedas. But here is Lord Chaitanya. I mean, we know the pastime. He's dancing in great ecstasy. So sometimes the devotee is accused. But actually, they're great learned. They are very learned persons. So, yeah. And Krishna within the heart, even if they cannot take advantage of the Vedic literatures, anyway, Krishna gives them intelligence. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I would just ask you about that
Go on.
sentence. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of literature or his spiritual master, Krishna from within will guide him, because he's sincerely performing devotional service. When
Yeah.
Here from within.
Yeah, so you can't get away from it. Not that you want to. Yeah, so even if you're not even if you're not able to take advantage of the literatures or even the spiritual master. But the point here, but there is a qualification for receiving Buddhi Yoga, and that's here. The only qualification, Prabhupada says, which makes it sound it's going to be quite small. The only qualification, all right, what's the only qualification? Perhaps it's not much, but he says that one should carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness.
Yeah, because
so that's quite a big qualification. Then everything's revealed. Everything's revealed from within the heart. Yeah.
I was thinking of that devotee who was cooking. Was it in Vrindavan? Just cooking, doing service of just cooking, and they were complaining that he's not chanting or, but he was just doing.
Vibhu Chaitanya.
Vibhu Chaitanya, yeah. He got quite unique instruction.
Yeah.
Yeah, this devotee wasn't chanting his rounds, he was cooking. Papa said that's fine, because he used to sing. He used to sing when he was cooking. Is that right? So Papa said, no problem, just let him continue. He doesn't have, he's so that's quite a unique instruction. He was quite a unique devotee as well. Yeah. So no doubt he wasn't lacking in anything. Krishna was giving him the intelligence. So we should take heart as well. Often we're quite busy, isn't it? We may be busy in our work, in our family situation, and we may not have the time that we would like to actually read and study, or etc., etc. But if we're continually devoted to Krishna, if we have a continuous sense and we're trying our best to engage in full Krishna consciousness according to our particular situation, Krishna is going to help us. Yeah, Krishna is going to appear in our mind and give us instruction. Now, it won't be like we will hear a disembodied voice telling us something. It won't exactly be like that. We will act according to Krishna's direction, even without knowing it. It'll be something that we intuitively do. And that knowledge is coming from Krishna. Especially if we're situated strongly in the mode of goodness, then devotee will find themselves acting according to Krishna's direction. But it's not as if, again, it's not as if they're hearing a disembodied voice. It's a very deep thing, that inspiration from the super soul, from a Krishna. All right. Any other questions here on this? All right. We have 15 devotees with us. Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining us. Hare Krishna. Please, anyone has any questions or comments, you're welcome to ask. You can put in the chat as well, if it's easier for you. If we can continue them, Prabhupada's going to have a go at the Mayavadis. So you can continue reading, Mother.
Okay. The modern philosophers think that without discriminating.
Mayavadi philosophers.
Okay.
Have you got modern in your book?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got
mine is
modern because
modern.
it's a very old.
Oh, wow. Well,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Shall I
Mine's
put down? I'll write down their Mayavadis.
Well, which edition do you have?
Prabhu, it's very, very old, and I don't have the front page of it, so I
Oh,
don't
well,
know.
that's why. That means it's...
Mine is
that-
this one, and I also have got modern philosophers.
And yours are old. Yeah, that's probably what's happened there, is that those who had the dictation tapes, they wrote the wrong thing. So they've gone back over the tapes Prabhupada gave.
Okay.
Anyway.
Sorry. The Mayavadi philosophers think that without discriminating, one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, this answer is given by the Supreme Lord, those who are engaged in pure devotional service, even though they be without sufficient education and even without sufficient knowledge of the Vedic principles, are still helped by the Supreme Lord, as stated in this verse. The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there's no possibility of understanding the supreme truth, the absolute truth, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, simply by speculating. For the supreme truth is so great that it is not possible to understand him or to achieve him simply by making a mental effort. Man could go on speculating for several million of years, and if he's not devoted, if he's not a lover of the supreme truth, he will never understand Krishna or the supreme truth. Only by devotional service is the supreme truth, Krishna, pleased, and by his inconceivable energy, he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotee. The pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart, and with the presence of Krishna, who is just like the sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is a special mercy rendered to the pure devotee by Krishna. Due to the contamination of material association through many, many millions of births, one's heart is always covered with the dust of materialism. But when one engages in devotional service and constantly chants Hare Krishna, the dust quickly clears and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. The ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by this chant and by devotional service, and not by mental speculation or argument. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life, need not be anxious, because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic
endeavors. Hare Krishna. All right. So any questions, comments here? Doesn't have to be. I guess it's all clear for us. Prabhupada's wonderful purport. But like, what's the impression, or what's, someone can just kind of summarize those two paragraphs? What's Krishna saying? What's Prabhupada saying?
Isn't Srila Prabhupada saying that, you cannot understand Krishna by mental speculation? You have to really engage in loving devotional service.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically that we understand that very clearly. Hopefully. You can go on speculating for many years. So that means it's something that is given according to your devotional attitude. Then you'll be given the correct understanding. Yeah. Yes. All right.
Prabhu, sorry, one
please.
clarification, Prabhu. You know
Please.
the last sentence when he says, as the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors.
Yeah.
So how will you know that this is happening? Is it when you completely, you're engaging in Krishna consciousness all 24/7, or, I mean, despite your very difficult, say, household affairs or whatever? How do you know that that is actually working?
Yeah, that's why Prabhupada's interesting you asked that question, because that's what I thought when you was reading that. I thought, what does that actually mean? Prabhupada's purports are very, very, very deep, and he's writing to all different, and he's communicating to all different levels of devotees. So one way to look at this is someone who's transgressing. It's like Maharaj Kishore could say, transgressing from Grihastha to Vanaprastha ashram. And she's relatively, more or less, I should imagine, completely free from materialistic endeavors. She's free to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. She brought up children, grandchildren, and they're taken care of. So from that perspective, you can apply it literally. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. So you could look at it like that. But what about those who have young children, those who are devotees? How does that, and in what way would that apply to them? It's an interesting question we could ask. Yeah. So I'll ask the question, how does this apply to someone, say you got a young couple, they're in their 20s, they're married, they got children, the husband's working in the software industry, he chants 16 rounds, goes to the programs as much as he can, but he's completely, but he has to maintain a house, he has to, get the kids to school and etc.
Carries on because that's his duty. So he does that and then develops. At some point, he will get to a point where he's going to be Vanaprastha.
Yeah, so all right. So we look at it from, it is the literal thing, what Prabhupada is saying here, that at some point that we will become free from materialistic responsibilities and we'll get the opportunity to completely dedicate ourselves to hearing and chanting. I mean, so looking at some devotees here now, there are a few Vanaprasthas with us now. Hare Krishna.
I mean, I have a young couple, young kids, and I saw them like professional jobs and bringing kids up and everything. And you can see as the children have grown quite well now. Their life is different. They do tend to spend some quality time in their devotional service.
Yeah. So
it will change.
Yeah, I think we conclude that if one is sincere, and devotees are, that is the definition of a devotee, they are sincere, then we may not be able, to fully understand how it's all going to work. How am I going to, last stage, how is it going to work, retirement, this, that, but if we're devoted to Krishna, Krishna's going to arrange things for us. Probably things that we couldn't do if we had to do it on our own, I guess we have to make some type of plans, some type of idea of when we might retire, etc. That should be there, but how it all ties together may not be very clear. But then Krishna is going to make it clear. As the Lord takes charge, he says, as the Lord takes charge, Lord is going to take charge. One becomes completely free of all kinds of materialistic endeavors.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if my example, I can give my example. I don't know. I definitely, when I joined Krishna consciousness, everything was clear. I had no other direction to go in. Everything else was closed down, you know, everything was just hopeless everywhere I looked. And the only bright, open path was Krishna consciousness, you know. So Krishna, yeah, I won't go into the details, but everything was mystically arranged. That was very hard for me to do anything else but to take to Krishna consciousness. So the Lord took charge, you know. I couldn't be trusted. So he brought me in quite early, at a young age, you know.
But
Thank you, Prabhu.
I was listening to Kishore Maharaj today, and he was saying, like, for Western people, when
Yeah.
you leave home and things like that, it's easy. Parents are not like tying them down. So yeah, it's time for you to move on, get your own place and do. So it's easy.
Yeah. That's the difference. Yeah.
Yes, when he wanted to join, it was like the whole family was no, you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't. So because
Yeah.
they said no, he had to force himself to do these things. So it's difficult for Indian families.
Yeah. But still, there is many. In India, we have thousands of brahmacharis.
Yeah.
So many are doing that, despite what the parents, what the family may say. But you're definitely right. It is not always easy. It's more easy, yeah. Western, it's degradation. Interestingly, degradation and the degradation of family ties, etc., has its advantage in one sense for young people. Sometimes they can just easily leave that situation. But then, you know, but anyway, we're going on, I guess. But then that type of upbringing brings a lot of negative some skadas as well.
Oh yeah.
So to train up, okay, young people join from the West Krishna consciousness, but my God, there's a lot of work that has to be done for them to make it all the way. Whereas those who join from, you know, those who join from an Indian background, the pious Indian based, it's hell to get to move into the temple. But like when they do, it's kind of clear sailing for the most part. But Westerners come with a whole, you know, headload of junk. You know, David Richard said, you know, sorry for me saying this, it might be a bit what's the word, not good, but David Richard says it takes about 4 years for Western people to get their porn out of their brain. Because that's all they're doing in the West and in India. They're just, you know, so it takes a few years to kind of get that all out of their head. Anyway, we're going first. I don't know if that's anything else on this.
Yeah, it was mentioned that Indians are 10 steps away from Krishna, but they are going in the wrong direction. Whereas the Westerners are 100 steps away from Krishna, but they are coming in the right direction towards Krishna.
Yeah.
So the difference. Because
yeah, go on.
Because Indians, they need to copy someone. They will not do it on their own, even though when they are 10 steps away, they are going in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, interesting dynamic in our Krishna consciousness from the Western mindset, and you got although the two are coming closer together in a lot of ways with the degradation of India in one sense. Oh. Okay, sorry, that was a phone call coming in from Adi Guru. I can get that later. Okay. All right, so shall we, what's the time? 10:02. Anything else from here before we might move on from the Chatur Sloki? Let's have a look at this
the
first.
Last paragraph is really good. Like, you know, by studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become so complete.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's what we're doing.
Yeah, because how you attach, like from the beginning, material association, how by chanting, like faith, you know, that 9 processes of faith and
yeah,
association of
Shravanam Kirtanam.
I'm kind of connecting that with that paragraph, you know,
Mm.
that how by faith and then association, performing devotional service, chanting, the heart gets purified. And Krishna, just by studying, Krishna just completely guides you from within.
Yeah, slowly but surely. We may not always appreciate how we are getting purified, but for sure we are. Yeah. All right, let's have a look then at text 12 and 13. Let's have a look at the size of the purple. Kind of relatively long. Let's see. Okay, anyone like to read this one? Another famous verse that Prabhupada would often quote.
Yeah, I can try.
Yeah, let me just get the link for this verse. 1 second. Yeah, now for the first time since chapter 8, text 2, Arjuna will speak. All right, so Arjuna hasn't spoken for a little while. We're on chapter 10 now. So he's speaking now again here in 10, 12, 13. So in the next 7 verses, Arjuna expresses his acceptance of everything Krishna has said. And then he asks for more. All right. So do we have a reader here?
I can read of there is Labanga Sudramni.
Yeah, I can read.
Yeah, I can
Oh,
read.
okay. Go ahead, Mavlova.
Yeah. Okay. Where am I starting?
Yeah, sorry, yeah, we're down doing the Sanskrit, isn't it? So you go.
Yeah.
Rama.
Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramambavam Purusam Sasvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajambud Vibhum Ahustvam Risaya Sarve Devarsi Nara Dastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravisi Me. Yeah. Arjuna said, you are, can you hear me properly?
Yes, fine.
Okay, sorry, I just said low bandwidth. Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, David, Devala
1
and
second.
Vyasa.
Okay, just read the verse, Nova. Just go ahead and read the verse. Did you read it?
And Vyasa confirm this
Yeah.
truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me.
Yeah, I'm going to have to adjust my watch. My watch is 6 minutes slow. That's why I started 6 minutes late.
It's 7
okay.
Yeah, so the time is 7. I guess it's a good place to pause, and we can read the verse again on Tuesday, and we could get into this purple. Yeah. Okay, so let's finish the Chatur Sloki. Hope we found it interesting, and we've taken away some treasures with us that we can meditate upon. Hare Krishna. All right, thank you, everyone. And if you have time or inclined, please join us tomorrow. We have the ongoing adventure of Gopal Kumar, who's now hearing about Goloka Vrindavan. That's in Brihat Bhagavatamrita reading. So please join us if you have time. Okay. Okay, thank you, everyone. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare.
Thank you.
Hare Bol.